Come on, y'all. I thought this was fake. Iran said they only going to negotiate with the GOAT, the greatest of all time. They only going to negotiate with Obama. What the hell? Come on, y'all. It's crazy, right?
The problem is when Americans, the current administration, talk about a deal, in fact, they want to dictate what they want. And this is what we experienced. As recently as 2 months ago in New York, we are ready for negotiation, but not for dictation. We are ready to go for a deal, but for a fair and balanced deal, not a one-sided deal.
Wait. Obama 2028. Wait. Obama 2028. Hold up.
Breaking news, y'all. Oh, this is hilarious. Iran said to Trump and his administration, we're not going to do any negotiation. We'll only talk to Barack Obama. They said we want to talk to Barack Obama for negotiations or nothing. And Trump is mad as fuck right now because Iran respects Obama. Obama is the OG. Iran said we want to negotiate only with Obama, not you. Wow, y'all. Obama get...
Because America negotiated from a position of strength and principle, we have stopped the spread of nuclear weapons in this region. Because of this deal, the international community will be able to verify that the Islamic Republic of Iran will not develop a nuclear weapon. This deal meets every single one of the bottom lines that we established when we achieved a framework earlier this spring. Every pathway to a nuclear weapon is cut off, and the inspection and transparency regime necessary to verify that objective will be put in place. Because of this deal, Iran will not produce the highly enriched uranium and weapons-grade plutonium that form the raw materials necessary for a nuclear bomb. Because of this deal, Iran will remove 2/3 of its installed centrifuges, the machines necessary to produce highly enriched uranium for a bomb, and store them under constant international supervision. Iran will not use its advanced centrifuges to produce enriched uranium for the next decade. Iran will also get rid of 98% of its stockpile of enriched uranium. To put that in perspective, Iran currently has a stockpile that could produce up to 10 nuclear weapons. Because of this deal, that stockpile will be reduced to a fraction of what would be required for a single weapon. This stockpile limitation will last for 15 years. Because of this deal, Iran will modify the core of its reactor in Iraq so that it will not produce weapons-grade plutonium, and it has agreed to ship the spent fuel from the reactor out of the country for the lifetime of the reactor. For at least the next 15 years, Iran will not build any new heavy water reactors. Because of this deal, we will, for the first time, be in a position to verify all of these commitments.
The problem is when Americans, the current administration, talk about a deal, in fact, they want to dictate what they want. And this is what we experienced. As recently as 2 months ago in New York, we are ready for negotiation, but not for dictation. We are ready to go for a deal, but for a fair and balanced deal, not a one-sided deal.
How prepared are you if there were a follow-on Israeli attack on Iran?
We are even more prepared than the previous war.
Can you elaborate? In what way are you prepared?
You know, our missiles are, in a better position, quantity-wise and quality-wise. We have learned many lessons during the 12-day war. We have learned, we understood our weak points and our points of strength, and Israelis' weak points. We have worked on all of them, and we are fully prepared, even better than the previous time. It doesn't mean that we want war. As you know, the best way to prevent a war is to be prepared for that.
Trump tried to bring Iran to the table to make a deal. They said, hell no, we don't trust you. We already know how you do. You coming to dominate. But they talked to Obama, and they made a deal with Obama. Trump is pissed, to say the least. This is so historic. Man, I'll let y'all know what I hear.
So this is the latest breaking news. Donald Trump is not happy with Iran's response, saying that they want to bring back Obama, that they only want to talk to Obama, the GOAT, someone on the varsity team. So after Donald Trump heard this, this is what he looked like. He was not happy. And I have Obama's response. It's so good. I got a photo of him when he was learned of this, what Iran wants. Here we go. I'll get it. Now, this is Obama's response after he learned that Iran wants to deal with only him, the GOAT, the go-to guy, and that he's on the varsity team and not Pee-wee football. So here we go. I think it's hysterical. Look at his response. It is so good. Way to go, Obama. And we will see you hopefully for a third term. And yes, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Obama and possibly Iran negotiations. Awesome. There you go. He's smiling.
So Iran just tweeted out that they will only negotiate with Obama. Yep. They said, sorry, we're holding out for the GOAT. Yeah, we're not talking to you. We were going to wait for President Obama, the greatest president of all time. We ain't fucking with you, but we're chilling here by the Strait of Hormuz until you send in the varsity team. We will only negotiate with Obama. Oh my, Trump's head is going to explode. He's... I'm sorry. Oh my God. Trump, there will be ketchup, french fries, and cheeseburgers hitting every wall of the White House tonight because Iran is straight trolling Trumpy McDupper pants. He's... Wiper, clean up on the aisle, Oval Office. Yeah, he got a big load right now after this one. Yeah, Iran is trolling Trump. They said they're only going to negotiate with Barack Obama. Fucking genius.
All right, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Trump, but credit where credit is due, because I just read through the terms of the new agreement with Iran, and it is a massive win for the United States. First, he got them to give up 11 tons of enriched uranium. That's 98% of their supply. They agreed to dismantle 13,000 centrifuges used to enrich nuclear material, and they agreed to cap the purity level of the little enriched uranium they still produce at 3.67%, which is 1/30th the level you'd need to make a bomb. And to ensure they don't go off the rails, they agreed to allow independent inspectors who conduct on-site inspections of all of their nuclear sites, including undisclosed locations we discovered through surveillance. On top of that, the Strait of Hormuz stays open and Iran gets no additional cut of oil that flows through it. Wait, hang on a sec. Shit, you guys, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Those were the exact terms of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal signed by President Obama. That deal was so thorough and so well executed that in every single one of the more than a dozen independent inspections, Iran was fully compliant, including all of the inspections conducted by Donald Trump's own State Department. And on top of that, Obama's deal took the strait off the table as leverage, because in exchange for giving up their nuclear weapons program, they got relief from sanctions on oil sales. So closing the strait would have hurt them just as much as anyone else. But Trump tore up the deal anyway, because just like with the Affordable Care Act, any policy that proves Obama was 1,000 times the president Trump will ever be is an unacceptable living reminder of Donald Trump's incompetence and inadequacy, because there is nothing Trump hates more than a mirror that tells the truth about his reflection. A Velveeta Cheeto who is somehow simultaneously both twice the man and half the man that Obama continues to be. So with the deal torn up, within a year Iran had enough enriched uranium to be a problem, so sanctions were reimposed and the strait was turned back into a hostage. But because Donald Trump can't make a deal durable enough to serve as President Obama's toilet paper, he'd painted himself into a corner and had no choice but to turn to the military to try and bury the problems he couldn't solve with a pen.
Obama said, 2 weeks ago, that Netanyahu came and said, if you don't attack Iran, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And Obama said, go ahead, use them. We need to operate utterly independently of the Israelis. I've said a million times, I'm going to repeat it. Starting in the mid-1980s when Ronald Reagan was president, every single Israeli prime minister, no matter who it was, when they came to the United States, and they come all the time, they would say, please attack Iran, please attack Iran, please attack Iran. And every single president said, I'm not going to do it. Obama said, 2 weeks ago, that Netanyahu came and said, if you don't attack Iran, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And Obama said, go ahead, use them. And he called the bluff, and they didn't use them. Since 1986, the Iranians have been 6 months away from a nuclear weapon. Well, guess what? No, they're not. That's a lie. There have been two national intelligence estimates. What a national intelligence estimate is it's a sense of the community, of the intelligence community, formal paper. And this is important. If the CIA writes a paper, oh, okay, congratulations. The CIA believes this, or DIA believes that, or State Department believes this other thing. An NIE, National Intelligence Estimate, is you have all 18 intelligence agencies sitting around a giant table in the offices of the National Intelligence Council, and they're going sentence by sentence. Okay, the first sentence is, and the National Intelligence Officer reads it. Anybody have any objections? And all 18 people get to weigh in. It takes weeks normally to coordinate a paper like this. All 18 intelligence agencies concluded decisively, twice, that the Iranians did not have a nuclear weapons program. 2003, and the other one was like 2009, something like that. And in addition, Ayatollah Khamenei issued a fatwa saying that it was a sin to develop a nuclear weapon, and that's why they were not enriching to weapons grade levels.
Yeah.
And the Israelis said they didn't give a shit. They want us to bomb.
First off, I'm surprised that you fill a room with 18 different agencies. I'm actually surprised anything ever in the world gets accomplished.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I never hated anything in my entire career as much as coordinating an NIE. I was the Deputy National Intelligence Officer for a while. And then to get promoted to GS-14, I had to write an NIE. So I wrote this NIE in 1997, and it was called Iraq, Saddam's next 12 months. And we coordinated it in 8 hours. And the National Intelligence Officer, Ben Bonk, God rest his soul, terrific guy, he came to me afterwards and he said, that was the fastest coordination session for an NIE that I've seen in 25 years. And I said, this one was actually pretty easy, Ben. Saddam could threaten Kuwait. Saddam could threaten the Kurds. Saddam could threaten the Shias. Saddam will probably try to violate sanctions.
Back during the Obama administration, the Israelis were pushing President Obama to take military action against Iran, and were warning that they would do it themselves if he didn't. And he wouldn't, because he thought the better way to get at the nuclear program, which is what we were focused on, was through very muscular diplomacy backed up by very, very strong sanctions that we rallied the world to put in place. And then we got the Iran nuclear agreement. In the days after the October 7th attack on Israel, the horrific attack on Israel by Hamas, the Israelis were insisting that in the north, Hezbollah from Lebanon was about to attack. And they wanted to strike preemptively against Hezbollah. And President Biden said, look, we're with you, we'll always be with you in defending Israel, and if you're attacked, we're there, but we're not there if you're going to start something. And we came within about 30 minutes of having a war in the north based on bad information that the Israelis had about an imminent attack from Hezbollah. We were able to avert that. But Biden was very insistent. We're not going to do something that you initiate, that you start. It's very different than defending Israel when it's been attacked. I can't speak to what the dynamic was this time. I heard that, then it was walked back. The president said it was the other way around. There's been a shifting rationale, a shifting explanation for why this, why now. And again, that's why it's so important to have ideally laid this out before the American people and our partners and allies. We might have had less friction with them if there was a compelling case to be made, to make sure that we laid that out in advance and had them with us on the takeoff, not mid-flight or on the landing.
Barack Obama stopped Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon without forcing the entire world to pay more for gas.
So the most important issue right now is the question of trust. We cannot trust Americans at all. So everything should be exact. Everything should be defined very clearly before we can conclude a deal. And it is obvious that those things they have not been able to achieve militarily, they cannot achieve on negotiation table unless there is a win-win solution achieved. So the current negotiation is suffering from the lack of trust. Or another problem is as I said, contradictory messages, which has made us reluctant about the real intentions of Americans in these negotiations. We are in doubt about their seriousness, but the moment we feel that they are serious and they are ready for a fair and balanced deal, we certainly proceed in the course of negotiations.
MAGA Republicans are freaking out because President Obama has reassumed his position as symbolic figurehead in the aftermath of Donald Trump failing so terribly to build up our relationships with leaders like Prime Minister Mark Carney, who met with President Obama just yesterday. Even Laura Loomer is, I guess, taking to the internet to say that this is an attempted coup, but that would never... Wait. Obama 2028. Wait.